And it's another episode of Tales from the Head. And this week we're going into how plans, it's not just plans, that's kind of vague. How about when a plan goes as planned?
Mm-hmm.
That always feels good.
Yeah, and it's kind of like we seem to remember when they don't. But when they feel good, just knowing that everything went as planned, it feels so relaxing.
Yeah, it's very satisfying, right?
Absolutely.
And I also came up with the idea. I was high, big surprise, and I was just thinking, like, it came to me. I was like, yeah, I should. How about this idea? Like, and I, I don't remember the exact example, which would have been really nice, but hey, no, but I remember thinking, like, man, it feels good when a plan works out, which is duh. Everyone loves when things work, right?
Yeah.
But then, like, the more I thought about it, I'm like, what would I even talk about? Like, I was like, I love thinking in my head that I have all these accomplishments, but then I'm like, but are they interesting? And then I run down the list. I'm like, yeah, these aren't. I mean, they're not like you wouldn't write an article and then paper about it, but it's worth mentioning that I should be happy about.
Yeah.
First thing that came to my head, because this isn't in chronological order at all. I'm just gonna go with order of when I wrote them down. I planned to make a raised planter beds in my backyard, and I'm not a carpenter by any means, and yeah, but I'm not the most handy guy. But I mean, I know my way around a hammer and a drill and stuff. But like I was pretty happy when. And by the way, the day I decided to do it, so I went out to Home Depot. I went out and got the wood, which isn't. If you got time and money, don't go to Home Depot for wood. But if you're just gonna get some cheap wood and whatever, Home Depot's great. So I go to Home Depot, I get some wood. I wanted to get some like redwood and something that would be like weather, because redwood and cedar,
sturdy. Yeah,
it lasts like 7 to 10 years. It's like pretty waterproof because it's so dense. And they didn't have any of it. So then I thought, well, it doesn't really matter what kind of wood I use if I just lacquer it.
Yeah, if you put a stain on it or something.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So then I just got this Douglas fir, which is just the regular kind of Christmas tree wood. Yeah. Super cheap, super sturdy though, so that's cool. And then what I did was I didn't even sand it. I just took it home. I got some black, not like dark, pure black stain. Dude, this shit is like, it looks cool. Like it looks, it gives the planter beds almost like a waterproof kind of seal. But then it looks clean too because it's all black. So, I made these like planter beds. They're probably like 2 feet by 8 feet.
Okay.
2 of them, it's not too bad. And they're probably about, I don't know, 2 feet tall.
Okay.
So it was a good amount of wood. And the day I built it, it was like 100 degrees outside.
Of course.
Yep. And it was valley heat. It was in the summer. Oh man, it was crazy. I put it together and I almost had I went back inside and it was just like, I had to take a shower before I could do anything. That's just how, but it just felt so fulfilling and satisfying to start the project just with a bunch of wood and pile of stuff and then finish it with something that looked like something that I would see on TV that wouldn't necessarily just be something that looked like something I did. It looked like someone who cares, and I was pretty happy. Yeah. So it was cool. It was very fulfilling.
Yeah, absolutely, man. And I think you did nail it when you said, like, we're not professionals, professional builders or anything like that. So it's just like getting it done and doing the whole process and just knowing that you accomplished yourself. Like it definitely feels very gratifying.
Yeah.
Like 100%. Trying to think of something I did, which is funny that you brought up your project because I did take woodshop in high school.
Oh yeah.
I didn't want to, but they kind of threw me into it.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember as you're describing how you felt and everything, that's how I felt after finishing my first project, which was a cutting board.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
Um, and I remember this cutting board, like it was made out of I think it was also like I think it was cedar because it was gonna weather and stuff with like chopping and stuff. So you needed like a strong wood.
Right.
Um, but yeah, it's just I remember going in there working on this thing for like 2 weeks. And just once you finish like the product, when you're doing the staining and you kind of just let it dry, and once you see it, you're like, yeah, I built that.
Yeah.
Like it's not that big of a deal, but just the knowing that you not even that you build it, it's just that you follow through with the plan. I think that's what
Exactly.
really like
Yeah.
is a huge success, and it's very gratifying. Like I'm so glad I toughed it out, kind
Mm-hmm.
of situation. Even though you might feel like you want to quit sometimes, you're like, yeah, I did that shit.
Yeah, exactly. Follow through, commitment and follow through, right? That's the
Yeah.
hardest part on some of this stuff because it's not all satisfying and gratifying, and
Yeah.
it's nice, when it is, but like you said, sometimes some stuff doesn't thank you, and you got to really like to do it, or you got to really set your mind to it to get it done, right?
You need to have that perseverance and you need to have that grit for it. Um,
Perseverance.
one thing though, to my example, when we were thinking about this, and it was funny because it literally just came. It was something I was thinking about um on Sunday. Um, I remember back in the days, like maybe 10 years, maybe 11 years ago, we all had like fixed gears and single speeds and stuff
Oh
like
yeah, I
that.
still have my fixed gear.
Yeah, you'd still do it. Damn, I,
I'm
I don't
probably
know
the
what
only one who
happened to
still
mine.
has it.
I don't know what happened to mine. And the thing is, like, I really want a fixed gear. Oh, not fixed gear. Fuck that. But like a single speed. Anyways,
Yeah,
I
I
remember
don't
this
want a
one
fixed
time.
gear anymore either.
I want to fix it. I just want a single speed, please. But I remember we were all about the bicycles. I remember you probably went with us a couple of times when we would ride from like east side to like downtown
Yeah,
just to go drink next to like the arena and then
and then
but
ride back.
yeah, and then right back like at midnight kind of buzzing on your that was wild, man. But I remember this one time we were having coffee in downtown, and one of the baristas who was a friend, he was telling us about how he took his bike up the Caltrain to San Francisco, and they rode back um using the El Camino, because El
Yeah.
Camino takes you from San Jose all the way. Well, shit, it takes you from San Francisco all the way to San Diego, but whatever. So he was telling us about this, and we're like, dude, let's do that. So my buddies and I, we planned it, but rather than taking our bikes to the city and then riding back, we
Mm-hmm.
decided to ride to San Francisco and then take the Caltrain back. And I remember we did it. It was, dude, Coop. It was like such a fucking drag, dude. Like
Well, dude, there's so many red lights on El Camino.
not only that, dude. Like from here all the way to Palo Alto to like Stanford University, it was cool. It was flat. The roads were nice and wide. There was bike lanes
Uh
and
huh.
stuff like that. Once we passed Stanford University, um, and like the Stanford Shopping Center, the roads got super narrow. So there was no more, um, there wasn't like a bike lane or anything like that. And then it was all uphill. And I remember this day, typical San Francisco Bay Area weather. It was super foggy and super windy. Mind you, this is like July. This is like summer in July, and it's freaking freezing like at 1 in the afternoon.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember just like going uphill and thinking, oh, once I get to the top, I'm gonna ride down and I'm gonna pick up speed. I can relax a little bit. And it wasn't like it was all uphill, and then you had wind coming against you. It took us like about 5 hours.
Yeah.
Um, But I remember we were talking about this with my
Jeez.
buddies that we went back and we took a picture we stopped in South San Francisco, like in Burlingame area.
Yeah.
Some Caltrain. And I remember we took a picture and we are talking about it and we're like, damn, it's so crazy that we did that. That's like a good 30, 40 miles that we did uphill against the wind, and we did it. And I'm like, damn, like at the time it sucked. Like I'm pretty sure you building your plant beds kind of sucked. But once you kind of like, once you finish, you took a shower, I took a shower, and you kind of sit back and you look at the pictures, you're like, fuck, I did this. And this is freaking awesome.
Yeah. And you know, like you were exercising, I was losing liquids. So, you know, we felt a little better after our you know,
our conquests,
our little tasks.
Yeah.
Little tasks.
One thing also I feel like we need to acknowledge, and like something we have to be proud of, is like literally this project that we have going on, Tales from the Head.
I had that on here. That's actually funny you say that.
Why?
No, that was on my list.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
This podcast, and then in parentheses I wrote not done, but steady for the last 4 months.
Yeah.
You know, and that's a big deal.
And I think it's for me it's like I remember beginning of the year talking about it and kind of like joking around about it, and then like really trying to do it, and we're like, well, even if no one listens to it, this is just for us. This is just for us to like speak our mind and kind of get stuff off our chest, and kind of just, you know, like our friend therapy or circle therapy and stuff like that.
Right.
But especially like in the past couple of weeks, like again, like people hitting me up on my text, Instagram and Facebook, and on Twitter, and they're like, hey, you know, great episode or something. Like one of our buddies, Hector, shout out to my buddy Hector. Like,
oh yeah.
We were like what, the third most listened podcast he heard this year. Like that's huge. Like that's a huge accomplishment. I have like for old friends and new friends. Like somebody put this on my Twitter a couple of days ago. My buddy Miguel, he was like, hey man, great episode, and that was the Omen one.
Oh, and cool. I thought that was a good one too.
Yeah, and I'm like, dude, like it means so much, like for, you know, to get like to get people listen to this, and it feels just so accomplished, like actually, you know, sticking through it, you know, and actually like doing it. I feel like that's like a big accomplishment.
Yeah,
especially since we have a track record of being kind of flaky.
Yeah, exactly. And then the other thing too is we're building a reputation too, you know. So like if clients or guests or future guests or whatever see that, like, oh look, they got like 40 episodes behind their belt, they're not just these weirdos, or they're not, well, they could be, but they're not just like psychopaths that want to kill me.
Yeah.
But nowadays you can Zoom with people, so you don't even have to like go to their house to do a podcast. You know, eventually I still want to I want to get this to the point where we can actually do it in person.
Yeah, well, I mean, we started this also in the middle of a global pandemic.
Let's be honest. We're going back into being, it's going to have to go back into being locked down. Yeah. Because I keep seeing news articles saying more cases than ever, blah, blah, blah. So they're going to lock us down again. We're going to probably have to be a Zoom podcast all next year too. But we'll make it work. It's worked so far, so.
As long as we pay the bills for the electricity and the Wi-Fi, we'll be good.
We'll be all right.
As long as we'll be okay.
You know, another thing we both have in common that is an example. Graduating college.
Yeah. That's a huge accomplishment. And if you don't mind me talking about myself, because
I think you should.
That's exactly what I'm good at, if you haven't noticed, in the last 13, 14 episodes. For me, college was never my plan, to be honest. Like I wasn't a bad kid in high school. I just didn't have no motivation or anything.
Mm-hmm.
And I wasn't supposed to graduate high school. Like I had very low GPA just because of laziness. Didn't want to turn in my homework or do any homework or anything like that.
Right.
And I remember my English teacher, she was also my 10th grade teacher, but my 11th grade teacher, English teacher, Miss Crane, she goes, she took her time. She saw my transcript and she goes, you know what, Daniel, you're smart because I know you're smart. You understand the stuff. You have like you're a great critical thinker, or whatever. And I'm like, whatever. And she's like, I think you're not going to graduate high school. You need to do this. So she actually recommended me to drop out of high school and join this alternative school, where I was taking college classes while in high school at the same time to make up credits. So
Yeah.
I went from overnight, dude, literally, I went from being a potential high school dropout to being a college student. And that was like, so like,
Wow,
I
that's
just
pretty
started
cool.
going, yeah, I started going to San Jose City College. I graduated in '02, continued my college. And even like when I was in Evergreen and stuff, I wasn't dedicated. Unfortunately, some of my bad habits from high school carried over. So, like,
Yeah.
and then, I stopped. I took a semester off and started working for, making good money for a company. So I took, some more time off. And it was until like, I don't know, my 20, I was 24, 25. And I'm like, you know what? I'm going to take college more serious. And I went back and I finished. And now I'm a freaking high school teacher, bro. Like, that's,
Yeah,
that's
dude.
weird.
That's awesome.
Like, it's so weird. Like, I went from almost a high school
Not
dropout to a high
yeah.
school teacher.
Yeah, you went from a guy who didn't give a shit about high school to now a guy who has to.
Yeah, here's the thing, and I'm the ones telling, because now I'm part of the counseling department. So I'm one of those fuckers now who are being like, "Oh, you need to put effort in it." Blah blah blah. I'm the one now trying to encourage these kids who were me
You're
in
you're
high
gonna
school,
you're
dude.
gonna be that lame teacher that's like, hey, I was gonna drop out, and none of the kids will believe you.
Exactly,
They're
dude. That's
gonna be like,
exactly.
yeah, right. Everyone says that.
But you know what, Coop? You know what gives me cred is
Huh?
that I teach in East San Jose, and I live in East San Jose,
Yeah.
and literally there's like a handful of students that see me. They know exactly where I live, so they're like, "Oh shoot, Mr. Betancourt, like he's real. He is from the East San Jose, blah blah blah."
Yeah.
And so like that works out, and I'm like, fuck, I wish I can go back and get like my transcripts from like freshman, sophomore, and junior year, and be like,
Oh,
see,
just to show them.
boom,
You
sucker.
you can. You just have to pay $25 or something.
Ooh.
Yeah, it
No,
costs
just like,
money
no,
because I had to do
I
it.
know
I
they
had to do
do.
it for college.
Really?
Dude, yeah, because you need your high school transcripts for college admissions or whatever.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
oh god, because it was the same thing. I was like 20. I was like 22, 23.
Yeah.
And then when I graduated, I was like 24, 25. I was like
Yeah.
24. So I
Yeah.
was like 22. And then like I don't know, dude. It's just was crazy. Like I can't believe I didn't even plan to go to school either. Like
Mm-hmm.
I mean I was gonna graduate high school and I knew I was gonna do that, but I didn't have a plan to go to college either.
Yeah.
I don't remember. I think it was mostly me, not really, because I wanted to go to Expression, which I did go to, but I wanted to
Mm-hmm.
go when I was in high school.
Okay.
Me and Ryan were supposed to go,
Mm-hmm.
but I couldn't go because I just couldn't do it. And then, so Ryan was going for a little bit, and then he left. And I thought, man, I want to do it. So I went in, and, and I did it, and I was older, so I could get a cosigner, and things worked out.
Yeah.
But yeah, dude, and I'm not like super. I'm not happy with the debt I got with it, which is really almost not valid because you know about it before you even sign the papers. But
Mm-hmm.
it's just like I don't regret doing it, but there when I'm trying to think about, I feel like it's I don't know if I've broken even on my degree yet as far
Mm-hmm.
as financially and as far
Yeah.
as work goes.
Okay.
I don't feel like it's paid off in that sense. I feel like it's paid off socially, like the connections I made, which is funny because I only talked to one guy since I graduated.
Yeah.
But like I know like I could reach out to more people if I wanted to, but like I only really still keep in touch with one person. So then there's that too, right? So you're like, but like I am happy that, like you said, it's like sometimes you just got to be happy that you wanted to do something. You set the plans to make it work. You struggled at times to the point where you could have quit.
Yeah.
But then you stuck it out and you finished, you know, and it really is a flaky, it's conquering the flake and removing that stigma from your life, because all you really need to do is finish things, like one thing, and then it becomes kind of an addiction. Like, even ever since I moved in with Steph, I wasn't as neat as, I mean, we've been living together since I was about 21. So it's been a while. It's been over 10 years. And but like when I first moved in, dude, like I wasn't clean. Like my apartment, I lived above a liquor store in Campbell. My apartment, dude, there was whenever stuff would come over, dishes were piled up. It was crazy. And then now it's like, I mean, I'm still kind of bad about dishes, but I get, you know, things bother me when they're not done now.
Yeah.
You know, like, I'm kind of bad about chores, but sometimes even I get sick of seeing stuff. Like, I'll do the laundry.
Yeah.
I'll start it. I'm pretty bad about folding it, but, like, I'll get it going, and then...
Yeah.
And then, like, it's just, like, you know, if it does feel good when I finish the dishes and finish a load of laundry. I hate chores. I literally hate, and then... The main part of me will put shit off as long as humanly possible. And then that, see, that's what fucks you though. Cause then you have to fucking sit there for an hour fixing it instead of just, if you, every day or every 2 days, or every day or every other day, you just do some maintenance.
Yeah. Dude, spend a little 5 minutes here and there.
So you're not like doing this mass cleanup every week.
Yeah. What's funny is that as you were saying that, I was, you know, thinking about myself, because, you know, the world revolves around me.
Yeah.
I was thinking about my room. Like, I remember once I started with the new school year last year, before like everything in my brain went haywire.
Right.
I remember cleaning, like organizing my room. I'm like, I'm going to organize this like 100%. And then I literally did not organize it or cleaned it until I went, you know, until we started distance learning back in March.
Right.
My room's just a mess. And like, I remember like I cleaned out my desk. I cleaned, you know, threw away some stuff that I needed to throw away. And now like I've been saying this for like legit for like the past 3 or 4 months. Like, I want to reorganize my desk, because it's just been stuff being piled on top of it. Like, yeah, I have the screen behind me, but you can't see like the mess that's behind me.
Yeah.
So, and it's like every day I do it, and I know now I'm putting off to clean, you know, to organize this, because I know it'll take forever. Rather than like you said, just maintaining it, you know, once a week, every 2 weeks. I'm not saying I'm a freaking slob. I'm not saying like my carpet is a fucking mess and all this shit. I'm just saying like, it can be tidier. And that's what it's control chaos. That's what I like to.
And clutter is stress, even if you say it isn't. It's underlying stress. It won't be like this on the surface shit. Yeah. It'll just be something that you don't even detect, but it is fucking with you. So there's that too. There's little things in life that aren't like, they'll fuck with you in deeper ways than just like, oh, like this makes you feel like the shit. No. So that's the thing about like clutter and shit like that, is it's been proven like that it just is just aesthetically it's not pleasing. So you know, you're not going to be like actively depressed, but you're going to feel different, and you're not necessarily going to know why. And see, that's not good. That means your body is physically are dealing with something because of how it mentally affects you. And And like I am blowing this out of proportion. It's not like you're gonna have a PTSD level experience, but what I'm saying is, clutter is, I think the reason why it's stressful to us is one is it's messy and it's a lot, but two, I think it's, I think in a way it's us telling ourselves like we're not doing things right.
Yeah, I think that's
it's kind of gluttonous because from a survival standpoint, and let's just say someone who was out doing what they needed to do to survive, right? And it was a very minimalist. Like they wouldn't have all their shit just lying around, right?
No.
It's very irresponsible. It's very reckless. But we do it in our houses because we're safe in our houses,
Yeah, it's our safe zone.
No, I get it. And I'm guilty of it too. My studio isn't the cleanest. I got some things set up. I just got the TV set up. We got a new Roku streaming thing, player, I guess you could call it.
Yeah.
And which is cool because whenever we get the new one goes downstairs. Then the old new one goes upstairs into our room, and then the old one that was in our room goes somewhere else, which is normally taken by me. And I was like, oh, sweet. I get the old one that works fast in my studio, so now I can watch TV up here, which is kind of nice.
Mm-hmm.
But, it's like I have it set up here, which is kind of cool, where I got the TV mounted on the wall. I got mics on this poker table, and the poker table is cool because once I got an extra monitor in here right now, but once I remove it, it's got the cup holders, and it's perfect for a podcast. Yeah. So that's what I kind of want to do is, it'd be fun to figure out a way to...
Yeah, like a round table kind of situation, and you even have the cup holders and stuff like that.
Yeah, the only thing that would be kind of challenging would be audio or video because I do have my webcam, so I could just do a wide, but, it goes back to that whole thing. It's like, you want to be a professional too, so it's like, I don't know. Yeah. But I just can't spend like all this money on cameras. Like,
yeah.
So that's the other thing. I had a GoPro. I didn't like the GoPros. I started doing the Stupid Kid podcast with a GoPro. Not originally because the first few I didn't do video for. But when I started doing video for the Stupid Kid podcast, I'm glad I stopped. It was GoPro and it was tough because I thought they'd be good. They're HD, and then they were just kind of a pain. Editing was a pain. Their software was annoying. The way they do this stupid file saving thing, which was so annoying. Like, say you filmed for let's just say you filmed for like an hour.
Mm-hmm.
GoPro does this dumbass shit where it breaks up your things into like 3 or 10-minute segments or something.
Okay.
So then when I would edit this GoPro video, I would have to drag from the editor like 30 GoPro videos. And then that's the thing. You're like, what if it's not in order?
Yeah.
And then what if you go and edit your video? So then what are you going to do? Watch every fucking thing? Dude, it was so annoying. I'm like, I can't do this every episode. Like, I can't. This is so dumb. Like, why do people even use GoPros? And I thought, oh, wait, most people use GoPros for live stuff, or they do it for like action stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I just thought it would be cool because they're compact, they're small. I can mount them. I could get one here, I could get one there, and that was my plan. I was like, I'd get a bunch of them used online. I just wasn't impressed with it. I got one. I ended up buying a camcorder, a Panasonic camcorder that was like $400. It's 1080p, but what sucks, dude, is we're 4K and up now.
Yeah.
So 1080 just doesn't look that great.
Which is insane because I remember when I used to work for the cable company out here. For Comcast. This is 15 years ago, maybe. 1080 was like the shit. Like 1080p and 1080i. Oh yeah. Got 1080i. And I remember like people used to call the cable company and be like, Oh, what do you recommend? Blu-ray or 4K?
HD or HD DVD?
Yeah, HD DVD.
Those didn't last.
No, absolutely not. And now even like Blu-ray, it's like no one freaking buys Blu-rays anymore because everybody just streams it.
Well, no, and then dude, on top of that, PlayStation, most of the consoles are doing away with the drives.
Yeah.
You have to pay extra for the drive. I think you have to pay an extra $100 on the PlayStation for the fucking drive so you can play the games. Which
without downloading it, right?
Yeah, which I'm not gonna do because I think it's a gimmick.
Mm-hmm.
For some people it's not. For my friend it probably isn't because he swears by it, and for him his argument makes sense. He said, I want it because I don't have a Blu-ray player anymore, and I got a shit ton of Blu-rays. And I said, okay,
yeah,
that makes sense. And then you'd have a new system and still have a Blu-ray player. Okay, that makes sense. But for someone who doesn't probably care about Blu-rays, I got a shit ton of Blu-rays too, but I'll probably just sell them. Like it's like my DVDs. I still got all the DVDs I really like. / the dollar Rasputin DVDs that I'm like, why would I get rid of them? They're worth $1. And then when the lizard people take over and we can't watch TV on the cable, I can watch my DVDs for a month and a half and then repeat them all for a million years. But
yeah,
you know, part of it's a pack rat. But I mean, like I'm looking at it right now. I got Jackass the show on DVD, a bunch of those.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not gonna get rid of those because one, I liked the show, and two, it's like even if I find it somewhere, I physically own it. You know, I got Chappelle's Show on DVD, which by the way got taken off of Netflix.
Yeah, it's true
because of Chappelle, which I'm okay with too.
Yeah, I support it. I think I have season 1 and 2, and
I got season 1 and 2 on DVD. I don't have 3, but I support him because I didn't read exactly the reasoning why, but I heard it was because he wasn't happy with some of the choices Netflix has been making the last year.
I also heard
their content.
I also heard that he. Well, I don't think it's because of that, because some of his comedy specials have been on Netflix.
No, but that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying other content they've chosen to put out on there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Not his shit. I'm talking about that creepy cuties documentary.
Yeah. Yeah, I know which one you're talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah. From what I heard, him talking about it also, he was saying how he called Netflix directly and he said, you know what? Like, yeah, this is cool that you have Chappelle's Show and everything. He's like, but I'm not making a single dime out of this. I never did. He's like, that's why I left. Viacom and Comedy Central, whatever, they own 100. He pretty much got ripped off for his rights and shit.
Oh yeah.
So he's not getting a single dime. So by them streaming it and shit, like, yeah, it can be the #1 show on Netflix, but he's not seeing a single dime on it. And he basically
so then my question is too. Yeah. Is if he doesn't get any dimes from it, which means he doesn't have royalties.
Yeah.
How does he have the authority to choose to tell them not to play it? Because if he doesn't get royalties, then he doesn't even have ownership rights.
Exactly. So
then how is he the one that plugs whether or not they shouldn't it be Comedy Central? That's like, well, that's cool that you are on the show, but that's like saying, and I know he created the show with Neil Brennan, but it's all about legalities. So
yeah.
It's like if Viacom owns it, then Viacom owns it.
Yeah, exactly. And at the end of the day, unfortunately, it is a shitty situation for him. And I wonder if Neil even gets any money from it, because that dude is fucking hilarious.
Yeah. Well, they have to get they get mailbox money. There's no way he doesn't make money off of it. What he probably. I believe what you're saying because I know that's true. I just wonder. Yeah. There's got to be something. I think it's that, but I also think it's I think it's part of what I was saying. I don't think politically he's happy with the direction Netflix has been going, which has just been kind of like putting shit out without really caring about what they're putting out.
Yeah, like Tiger King.
No, I'm okay with Tiger King because it's just shit. It's there's nothing worse about Tiger King than any of the other fucking murder documentaries.
That's true.
But with the cuties thing, just kind of glorifying pedophilia, I don't know.
Yeah, the cutie one, that was the whole beauty passion for like toddlers, right?
Yeah, dude. But then they it's like they make it seem like it's like an expose, but it's like, yeah, you're not doing a good job of making it seem like an expose.
Yeah. No,
and it's still, I think it's still on there, which is
I never liked those. I know there was one Princess and Tiaras or whatever it was
No,
called,
but
like
see, yeah, exactly. Toddlers and Tiaras was creepy, but this one supposedly is way creepier, and it goes in way deeper. I mean, I'm not gonna watch it either, but I've heard about what it's going on with it, and I understand why people are protesting Netflix. Personally, I agree. I don't think, just as much as I hate cancel culture and all that, I stand by what I say when it's something I believe in, even when it's something I don't, because I'm not saying Netflix should take it down, and I'm not saying Netflix shouldn't, but what I'm saying is they can do whatever the hell they want, but I have a right to judge them for it, and I also have a right not to get on a soapbox and be like, Netflix sucks, because I don't need to do that, but I can just protest in my own way, like, don't give them my $12 like they give a shit. But
stop using their service.
Yeah, stop using their service if you don't like it. And I'm okay with that too, because to be honest with you, I don't really watch Netflix, man. Like maybe I'm crazy. I watch a lot of the other ones. Steph watches a lot of Netflix, but I think it's helpful. She likes some of the docs on there, and the kids show is good, but I'm over it, dude. And it's not even that. It's not even me taking a political stand. It's just I haven't really been into Netflix for a while.
Yeah.
Sometimes they have something I like, but most of the time I'm just like, I'll sit there and just look at things and never pick anything, and it's like, eh.
Yeah, no, it happens. Like with me, I'm seeing myself just watching like The Office over and over.
Right. Go
tos. I've been watching a lot of the Pee-wee's Playhouse.
Oh yeah, I remember that show.
Yeah, it was a great show. I think it's great. So I'm seeing, like, I just catch myself seeing, just like barely, maybe last week, I started seeing some of their original series, like a couple of shows and a couple of movies here and there. But other than that, like, the context has been kind of like, the content, like you said, has been kind of weak. And the action on all of them, also like on Amazon, has been kind of weak. Disney Plus also has been kind of weak. I feel like they don't update it,
Well, the problem with Disney Plus is I think everyone got obsessed with it last year and went too deep and watched a lot of the shit, even though there's a lot on there. And I think people got burned out really quick. And I don't think that's on Disney Plus, because I think they're fine. I think people were addicted to watching shit, and like you said, when Prime and Netflix are down, you're gonna watch someone else, and it's like, yeah. So it's Prime. They all got their moments, and they all got good things. But I gotta say, Netflix, who was at one time leading the pack, I feel like they're middle of the road to be, or definitely not first place anymore.
No, they're definitely the industry standard.
Yeah,
but they're not the
they're not like
anymore.
They're not like a pick. They're not anyone's pick.
No, you have HBO Max, who's killing it.
Yeah, and their Max original, The Witches, was but I'm not gonna judge one movie. But HBO's solid. In fact, speaking of HBO, I'm gonna finish The Sopranos. I'm on season 2, episode 9. Everyone I know has pretty much finished it. But the fun thing about The Sopranos, have you seen it?
You know what? I've never seen The Sopranos.
Are you into Italian crime stuff?
I mean, yeah, I like Donnie Brasco. I like The Godfather.
I mean, if you're into shit like that, then you'll like this, because it's not like it takes place.
And all this shit.
Yeah, it takes place in like the 90s to 2000s, so it's current. It's not like you're watching like 1960s Vito Corleone or something. Like, but it's really cool because I think it's originally based on a Jersey crime family, but the interesting part of the show is a main part of the show is Tony Soprano, who's played by James Gandolfini.
Mm-hmm.
He is constantly going to a therapist, obviously very secretly, because wise guys and shit like that, you know. I mean, let alone you're you're the boss. You're not even just like a soldier or a captain. You were the boss
You're the head
of the Soprano crime family. So it's like, dude, you know, there's a lot of weight with your name, and he sees a shrink, and the relationship he has with her is really interesting because you could tell it wears on her, hearing all of this stuff from a mafia crime boss, and then becoming involved and becoming emotionally connected to this person. It's just the show. I'm almost in season 3, but it has evolved so much. It's kind of cool. Like, it's taken a lot of different turns, but you know what's funny is I heard the pilot for The Sopranos was filmed almost a year before episode 2, which makes sense because, you know, they do pilots to send to the network before they even get the show approved.
Yeah.
But I just thought that was crazy. So it's a calendar year between the scene shot on episode 1 to episode 2. That's kind of crazy, right?
Yeah.
But dude, it is such a good show. Right now I'm on season 2, episode like 9 or 8. I'm on episode 9, but in like episode 7, they're talking about Jon Favreau and Swingers. And then, dude, just like HBO fashion, like, because you watched Entourage.
Yeah.
They always have like real famous people in there playing themselves.
Yeah, The Wire, also same thing.
Dude, no, yeah, exactly. Like, they're famous actors in the Wire, in the sense of The Wire. But like Entourage and Sopranos, they're like, some of the people are actually playing themselves.
Yeah.
They're like, oh yeah, it's Jon Favreau. Like, it's fictional Jon Favreau, but it's like it's Jon Favreau playing Jon Favreau, which is I always kind of enjoy, because then it does make you feel like it's like real. But the interaction with the Sopranos is cool with his therapist, because it kind of reminds me of this whole pod too, in a way, because he wants the help, but he doesn't really want. He wants the help, but he doesn't really want the help. But he needs the help. But then he gets the help, and he's starting to go through it, and he's figuring things out, and he's bettering himself. You know, that's part of it. Obviously, there's other things he does that aren't good. But, you know, he is taking strides. He's noticing things, and I'm picking up on that in these episodes, and I'm like, you know, I'm not saying I'm Tony Soprano by any sense of the word, but But like I am happy that I can watch someone else be angry and do all these things that entertain me, but then I don't have to go and do them myself. But like, dude, you know, it's fun to live vicariously through fictional characters.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I've never. It's funny because as you're talking about, like, you know, Entourage, where like you have characters play themselves, but there's like super fictional characters of themselves and stuff like that. Dude, Curb Your Enthusiasm.
Like, with Larry David.
Like, Larry David, I honestly thought he was like an asshole like that until like you see him do interviews. Like, oh, he's nothing like his character on.
Oh, he's nothing like that?
No. It was just like, oh, that kind of like kills it. But like, I was watching this episode last week where Christian Slater comes out in Curb Your Enthusiasm. I'm not sure if you ever seen that episode. But Christian Slater is just like, he's playing himself. Obviously, he's Christian Slater, you know. But he in that episode, he's kind of like an asshole, kind of like what they also did with like Michael J. Fox, where he came out and he was kind of like an asshole, and every time like Larry David will confront him, like Michael J. Fox would be like, "Dude, this is my Parkinson's."
Oh yeah. And then
Larry's like, I don't know, man. I don't know. He's fucking.
I always like that about him.
Yeah, like, really? Okay.
Yeah. Oh yeah, when he does that, okay. No, but I really relate to Larry David, because there's times when I feel like I'm the kiss of death, and I hate everybody, and I'm confused by everyone's actions. And I feel like that's Larry David all the time. He's like, he's constantly being criticized and being treated like he's absurd. But in reality, he's like, no, everyone else around me is absurd. And if you watch the show, most of the time he is absolutely correct and in the right. But because of how we are socially as people and just how the show was written, it is always against him, which is part of the joy and part of the frustration all at once.
Dude, one of the episodes, he gets pissed off at the weatherman because they had they had tee off for like they're gonna go golfing, and the weatherman's like, oh, it's gonna be a horrible rain's coming in, blah, blah blah. So they cancel it, and it was nice and sunny, and he finds out the weatherman went out there and played at this like course. So towards the end, same thing, like the weatherman says like, oh, there's gonna be a huge storm coming, and Larry goes and plays anyways, and there's like a huge downpour because
he just has the worst luck.
Yeah, and I'm like yeah, you're put in that position, but at the same time, he wasn't so crazy. Like, no, this guy, he knew it was gonna clear up. He was gonna be a selfish bastard. So rather than
he was being an asshole. He really is. He is really good at it. He's just being a dick.
Yeah, and then it's like, all right, what's the odds of you telling me at 6 o'clock at night that there's gonna be a downpour? Overnight, how high pressure came, pushed aside, and there you are at 7 o'clock, tee off in this beautiful bright ass day before anybody else can go and golf. And it was just like, and I think he did the same thing where he kind of looks at him and he goes like, okay,
yeah,
okay, like he kind of like,
we'll do that. Like he's like annoyed.
Yeah, he's like he calls him out, like he sees it. He's like, no, you're fucking lying, but okay, I see how it is. I
saw when we went down to the Comedy Store, Jeff Garland was doing 15 minutes too. That was fun. That was pretty cool. He's a good character on that show.
Yeah. But dude, like those, like going down to like, if anybody listens to this down in LA, hopefully once this whole lockdown thing goes away, but if you ever get a chance to go to like those comedy stores or go to like the Laugh Factory, and you like, I remember we got comped, me and my butt and Daryl got comped tickets to see Chef Ross.
Oh, nice. Where'd you guys go? Laugh Factory?
Laugh Factory.
Oh, nice.
All you had to do is like buy like 2 drinks per person or something, which is like, oh, dude, 2 beers, piece of cake. So, but yeah, it was like so many great comics that day. Like I ran into a couple of dudes from like the Workaholics, especially the
was it Montez? Was it
no, the guy who also came out,
Brian Griffin,
or no, he came on. I can't remember his character.
Oh, name, Adam something.
Adam Levine or Levine or I ran into him like in the bathroom. Like we're taking a piss and I'm wearing like
Adam Devine.
Yeah.
Levine is Maroon 5.
Maroon 5, yeah. We're like in the bathroom and I'm like, we're like, I took a piss next to this guy, and then like we're washing our hands, not together obviously, but a different stall. And I have like a Newfound Glory t-shirt or something, and he goes, hey man, cool shirt. And I'm like, oh, thanks man, you're into pop punk? He's like, yeah man. He's like, I grew up with that shit, blah blah blah, Blink-182, Sum 41. I'm like, oh sweet. I'm like, I like your show. Bullshit, I never fucking saw the show. Well, I seen like an episode too, but I'm like, oh, I like your show, dude. And also I like your I really like Pitch Perfect, because I know he came out as like one of the guys from that one. He's like, oh, thanks, man. Yeah. He's like, take it easy, buddy. And that was that. And I'm like, only in fucking Hollywood can you go take a fucking piss and have like a casual conversation with like some TV actor, and just like, oh yeah, whatever. And like it's no big deal, and no one gives a shit. But that was fun, dude. Like Jeff Ross did like a 15-minute set, which is freaking hilarious. That's how I also saw Neil.
Oh, Neil Brennan.
What's his last name? Yeah, I saw him. He opened up for oh god, what's his name? He was big in the early 2000s.
Dane Cook.
Yeah, Dane Cook. Funny, yeah. He said I saw him open up for Dane Cook, and I was like, Dane Cook was all right, but Neil was just like, he stole the show from me. He was like so. And it took me and then it wasn't until he brought up, Dave Chappelle leaving. I'm like, oh shit, he is one of the writers. I'm like, I remember him from Chappelle Show.
Yeah, dude, he's a really good comedic writer.
Yeah, his podcast is really good too.
You know, I need to check it out because I do like him. I like so many comedians, but right now the comedian that I've been idolizing him for a long time now. Like I got onto his hype the year he died. It was like right when he was peaking, and then he died, and I've kind of been obsessed with his work ever since. But Patrice O'Neal is like got to be like one of my favorites right now. Probably gonna be a favorite for a while.
Let me look him up because I know that name sounds familiar. I know who he is, but I just need to.
If you got an hour,
okay,
yeah, you probably know. Okay. If you got an hour on YouTube, he has a special entitled "Elephant in the Room." It is one of the funniest specials I've ever seen, but I believe the whole special is on YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
You know, when you got time and you want to laugh, because I guarantee he's gonna make you laugh. He's just one of those guys. I don't know. He's more of a man's comedian.
Mm-hmm.
Not to say women won't find him funny, but he definitely is in the realm of team dude. So a lot of the stuff is a little more, you know, not macho is the right word, but I'm just gonna say it's guy humor. I don't like to make guy humor sound like it's bad. So I don't want to use the term like chauvinist because I don't believe that. I think he's just a funny dude comic.
I think the PC way you're trying to describe it, he taps into the masculinity.
Yeah, but even that's not PC. I think that's an okay way of doing it. Actually, I should have just worded it like that. Yeah, exactly. He's just a proud male persona, and there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah,
but
that's his character. That's his.
Well, yeah, but that's just who he is. Yeah. That's the cool thing about Patrice, though, is he's not really doing like a shtick or anything. He's just kind of like he's all about social commentary.
Yeah.
But he's just really good at it. Like when he was on the, because his claim to fame was being on the Opie and Anthony show for years. They were like one of the biggest shows on satellite radio next to Howard Stern, and they were a really cool show because they allowed a lot of these really good, hardworking stand-ups, not just big names like Kevin Hart, Dane, and at the time I don't think Kevin Hart was even huge yet, but like you know what I'm saying, like arena comics, like everyone could have them on the fucking morning zoos and the radios to plug their shows, and who gives a shit? But like the Opie and Anthony show was cool because one, it was satellite, so you could cuss, so you could talk about things that you couldn't talk about on regular radio, but it was really cool because they weren't held to the FCC guidelines with like cussing and subject matter, so they could really have these stand-ups on to kind of like work on their own stuff or just kind of like talk to them about real stuff. So it was fun because it wasn't a watered-down version of any of their comedy.
Yeah.
And when he was on the show, sometimes they would get callers because they were a regular radio show. So it was cool because they could get callers in. They could get love callers asking about advice. So he would get these women that would call in, super feminist types that just hate men. Not that all feminists hate men, but this specific feminist didn't like men very much. Mm-hmm. And she was very strong opinioned and very opinionated about it. And he just came in and he just ripped her new asshole. And dude, he used to go on Fox News. There was one time he was on Fox News as a correspondent. And do you remember that whole big allegation with that? Remember that guy Don Imus on the radio? This was like back in 2001 or something.
No, probably not.
No, not 2001. This was like 2000. Like we were in high school. Well, I was in high school, so it was like 2005 maybe.
Okay.
But Don Imus, he got in trouble. He's a radio guy, but he called. I forgot the exact situation, but he called these young black women nappy-headed hoes.
Oh,
and
yeah.
He got in a lot of trouble for that. Yep. So Patrice actually went on Fox News and defended him for calling them nappy-headed hoes, and it's just, he was just one of those guys that I don't know if there's anyone comedically more daring or had a bigger set of balls. Mm-hmm. And to pretty much just go with what he believes and then somehow make it funny. Like, if you told anyone else what he was saying, they couldn't make it funny, but because he has a way of explaining things socially and mocking it or educating you on what's going on, it's like some of the most entertaining stuff, but any good comedian, that's what they do. They take you on this journey you know, and if it wasn't for Lenny Bruce, none of these comedians would be doing any of this shit. But like, it's super cool, man. Like, I like comedians that are, in a way, like, people fear them. Those are the comedians I like.
Yeah.
I like the ones that really, really push the envelope.
Yeah, the ones who kind of like to play between, you know, the safe and, like, you know, during the gray zone, if you will.
Dude, some of the guys I like are past the gray zone. Like,
Really? Like, I know,
like they dance over it all the time.
Like, growing up, like, I would see, like, remember when Comedy Central used to have, like, hours-long specials?
Yeah, premium like blend and shit like that.
Yeah. So, like, I love Sinbad.
Oh, yeah, I remember.
Sinbad's still one of the funniest dudes. Clean jokes and stuff, but he was just funny.
Yeah.
You know, his characters, the way he describes stories and stuff like that. Same thing with Dave Chappelle. I think this is before
Oh, you kind of froze. Well, I think Danny should come back on, but it looks like he's frozen. So, we're basically going to fill time. And, yeah, I was talking about Patrice O'Neal and how he's been killing it lately. He's not even alive anymore. No, so, you know, it's just, we all got to find something that... So there we go. We lost Danny. He's probably going to come back on. Until the meantime, I'm going to play some random royalty-free elevator hold music, because this is what happens when you get hung up on. You get put on hold, and why not? I'm going to talk over this. I don't even know what it is. Doesn't matter. I don't know whether I got to invite Danny in again, which I'm probably going to try and do. But, you know, this is part of this is the part of the reason why I'm not a big fan of the Zoom podcasts. You know, obviously if you have a podcast with someone in person, if the board cuts out, it's going to cut out everyone. It's not just going to cut out one guy. Looks like we're going to get him back on shortly. But, you know, the main thing that we're covering today is, you know, plans and how it feels good when a plan works. And it feels tremendous when you can set your mind to something and actually get it done. I know, you know, there's not a lot of things, me and Danny were touching on this, there's not a lot of things that we feel like we do right. So sometimes it's kind of hard for us to talk about that. But, you know, that's part of life, is finding the only way to build the positive, you know, the positivity is to start enforcing it, reinforcing it. So, you know, it may not seem like a big deal that you did the dishes or did the yard work, but that's a task that you got done, that you set your sights on doing, and you finished it. So no matter how big, no matter how small, it should be something that you care to do, care to, you know, finish. And, you know, because you got it done and you know how to do it, the next time it won't feel so shitty, and you're probably going to be better at it. You know, like, for some reason, with me and laundry, I don't know how long it's going to take, but I don't think I'm ever going to be good at it. Because Steph will tell me all the time, she's like, you know, when I do laundry, I just pretend it's a game and I get it done quick. Whereas when I do laundry, it's like I'm in purgatory and there's no rush because I'm already in purgatory. So I'm just sitting there, and it's not that I'm miserable, but it's just, you know, it's folding clothes. I do a decent job. I'm clean, but I'm not super fast. You know, if I worked at a laundromat, that'd probably be different. But, you know, I think part of it too is if I'm going to hustle, I really got to set my mind to hustling. And when it's laundry, I'm like, I'm not excited. Same as dishes. It's like, I'll knock them out at my speed. I'm not going to be slow, but I'm not going to be hella fast either. I just want to get it done. And that's what's important, guys. It's not how fast or how slow you go. It's about finishing the race, you know. And I definitely think that's what we need to focus on is finishing, right? Getting those things done, you know. You see that task, you see that thing you want to do, that dream, that idea that you want to come to life, you know. That's up to you to make it real. That's up to you to make sure it happens. So, with that being said, I said Danny was going to come back on, but I think we're going to wrap this up just because it's a little late. We pretty much covered what we were going to talk about. And next week, we're going to have a nice special kind of a showcase with Danny. So it's going to definitely be, it's going to make up for this. It's going to make up for this mishap. But next week is going to be a cool, really, it's going to really showcase something with Danny's life, and I'm really looking forward to it. I'm glad you guys are still supporting us. Remember, any feedback, questions, or anything like that, please shoot it to tfthpod@gmail.com. Once again, that is tfthpod@gmail.com. We do accept donations, not donations, and you know, we're here, people. We're here. So if you have any questions, you want to tell us we suck, you want to tell us we're doing good, you want to say, hey, look, I want to have my sister's cousin on the show. She's got 3 arms and 4 eyes. And so do I. But, you know, something like that, dude. We can work something out. We love freaks. We love circus freaks, all walks of the earth. No one deserves to be chastised. We all deserve to be glorified. And we'll get it done, guys. You know, one step at a time. Man, this week sucked. But you know what, guys? It's not over. And it's going to get better because it's going to finish. And that is always true. No matter how lame your week is, for some reason when it finishes, it's always the best. So let's end on a high note. I bid you guys adieu, and I will see you later.